I'm going to talk to you this afternoon about some of the things we do in northeast Colorado and how we utilize EID and how it works for us and how we benefit and things like that. We run cows. We run about 250 cow-calf pairs in northeast Colorado and western Nebraska on short grass rolling hills, predominantly mostly grama, buffalo, sandreed, and blue stem grass. All of our cows, calves, and bulls carry EID tags. Since we started doing this about 5 years ago, and I've got the data and software and all the equipment to do it with, we've really enjoyed the benefits of having that management tool available to us on a daily basis. We scan the cows and calves and everything like that during our breeding, and we AI most all of our cows, so when they come through the AI barn, they get scanned, and we can click a button and scan a bull code, and we know exactly what cow was mated to what bull just pretty darn instant. Vaccinating, weaning, preg checking, and calving, we scan all the time. And all of our calves are EID tagged at spring branding. We are in a brand state, and so we brand in the spring, and all of our calves are EID tagged at spring branding and vaccination, and this year we did put the 840 tags in our calves. During the fall, we also use a little label printer. We collect BVD ear tissue samples every year and BVD test all of our calves as part of our marketing program. And so this little instrument right here prints out a label with the barcode and the EID tag number on it and any other pertinent information. We stick that label right onto the tube where we put the ear sample in, so when it goes to the state lab or the national lab, they've got every bit of information. The first year we did it, we got a call from the lab and said, "What's this label doing on here?" And then we kindly explained to them that that was the EID tag, and that was the calves visual. That was that calves identification. And ever since then, they just love it because they can stand there with their barcode scanner and scan them samples into the lab and do their lab testing, and then we can get our results back. So that's one of the things, technology things that we use. Also, by doing these labels, we've eliminated any human errors that occur when you write on tubes and stuff like that for transferring data such as ear tag numbers and stuff like that. I also use these labels when we doctor sick calves. I can go out there and scan them calves, and I put scan my bottle of medicine. I've got a barcode on that bottle of medicine, so I know exactly what medicine I'm giving them calves, and we put that on their sick card or their doctoring card that we keep in the office, and that way and it's time and date stamped, and I can actually look at that card and know when the drug withdrawal and stuff like that, those particular items are on that time. We also use this little system when we're doing our breeding soundness exams on our bulls, and so we can label all of our samples for semen and trek. Since we started using EID tags about 5 years ago, I kept track, and we've averaged anywhere from $5 to $15 a hundredweight premium on our calves when we sell them. And the way I come up with this is when we sell our calves, and we sell them primarily on the video auction, but I'll go through that video auction results and look through them calves and look to find calves that are similar in our programs and are similar in our way. They are marketed, have the same kind of vaccinations and stuff like that, and our calves have constantly averaged this much premium. And on a 600-pound calf, which is generally what we sell in the fall, that's a $30 to $90 a head premium. And for a $2 investment in a tag, I think that's a pretty darn good return. Pardon me. Oh, and for traceability, 3 years ago, we sold a group of calves. They went to Oklahoma to a backgrounder, and they run down there on wheat. These calves were all EID tagged. They run on wheat down there for the fall, winter, and the next following spring and summer. Them calves were then sold to a feedlot in Kansas. And that Kansas feedlot called and said, "We've got your calves here. We've read the EID tags and stuff like that." They wanted an affidavit that says we still had all the things we've done to them. So we provided that. And later, them calves went to a packer in southern Kansas, and that packer called us and said, "We've got your EID tag calves here with your EID tags." And we were able to collect all that carcass data off of them calves. So for the last 5 years that we have had EID tags in our calves, we've been able to collect every bit of carcass data on them animals through affiliations with the packers. And I thought that was pretty good, amazing for traceability. Here them calves had left our farm 15 months ago, and I get a phone call one day and says, "I'm a packer, I've got your calves here, would you like to have the carcass data?" And I thought, well, now that's just pretty darn good for traceability. Now we go to a different, I'm going to kind of step out of the box here. We always have a few calves that don't fit the load. In other words, they may have a bad foot. This particular calf had a few warts on his skin. We market those a little different. We have developed a website and that we use to market these animals, and we market them as home-raised beef. And how that works is the consumer, and most of our consumers are on the Front Range, Denver Front Range area. They log onto our website, or they get a hold of us some way or another, and they make a small deposit on this animal. And we do this in the fall of the year or whenever we put these animals on feed. In lieu of that small deposit, I give them an RFID tag number, or a 15-digit number, and they can come to this website. They can log on to that website at any time and punch in their 15-digit code, and their animal pops up on the screen with a picture and all the pertinent data that goes with that animal. The day he was born, his genetics, vaccinations, and growth data, average daily gain, things like that. And we try to update the pages about once a month. Every 30 days we weigh the animals so they got an idea of how their animal is growing. And it's our way of tying the consumer back to how their product is raised, how it's grown. And we've had a really, really good response over this, that they are actually getting to see how their animal grows and how it's raised. When it comes close to harvest time, we put another link on their page, and they click on that link and it takes them directly to the processor or the harvest facility. And depending on where they're located, we've got 3 or 4 harvest facilities in Colorado that we deliver to, and so we try to get the harvest facility that's closest to the consumer so they don't have so far to travel. And once they go to that harvest facility, it'll actually bring up either communication, or it'll bring up the cut card, or some kind of information on how they want their animal processed. How big do you want your steaks? How many pounds of hamburger do you want? Do you want in patties and things like that? And so they can actually fill out their cut card on the internet, send it back to the processor, and so they've got a stake in how their meat is raised. At the processing facility, we only use USDA-approved processing facilities. When that animal is cut, I generally try to go back, or I have the packers trained, or the processors trained good enough now. We go back and we measure all them animals. When they cut them up, we weigh the cuts, we package them, and at that same time I print out a label that goes on that package of meat that ties it right back to that animal. So when they get their cut of meat in their cooler or their freezer, it's got a package on it tying it back to that individual animal's ID. And so there's closest thing we've come to a small producer of having full traceability from from birth to fork. But they can, and actually they get a printout of all the different cuts that's in there that they've got from their animals. So they've actually got a tracking inventory. And I've got a couple of housewives that call me and think, "This is great. We just put it on our deep freeze, and as we take a package of meat out, we just check it off. And when we get down to the end where we got not very much left, we know we got to call Roger and get another beef ordered." And so that's one of the things we do. It also works great for me because I get retail list of all the cuts that come out of my animals, and I can do some percentages and facts and figures and see how the animals are yielding and how they are performing. By doing the animals this way, we have added a substantial premium to the way we sell our animals. These animals actually make more dollars a head than those that I sell on the truck or video auction. Something new we started this year. This is another one that's out of the box, out of the realm that most people don't see. As we're did some put long range tags in some cows this year. The reed range on these cows is about on these tags is about a half a mile. We've set up a center in our pasture. We've got some pastures where we rotate grazing, and we put these long-range ear tags in there, and we can monitor these cows on where they graze, what their grazing activities are in the pastures, what grasses they are grazing, how much time they spend at the water trough, when they come to water, if it's and those kind of things. These two pictures here, it's a small, long-range ear tag. Like I said, we get up to about a half a mile range. And those two pictures there show those two, got some high school kids that come out, and we did some validation study on these tags, being they're new, to actually, them kids sat there with a spotting scope and a rangefinder, and they would watch them cows and write down the range of them cows, so we knew exactly how many yards they were away from the test station, which is the data logger is on that big tall pole there, and you can see a three little antennas setting up there. But these kids, we're collaborating the data so we can measure their distance, so we can actually, when it's all said and done, we can go out there and scan a cow and know exactly where she's at in that pasture. We added a weather station to this philosophy, and we use that for like heat indexes and stuff, rainfall and things like that. And so we can actually, if the cows are huddled up in the pasture during the summertime, and you go there and you check the heat index and it's in 90 plus, you know why they're huddled up, or if they're fighting a fly or something like that. The ultimate goal with this little deal here is to collect weather data and to use the long-range ear tags to find out where they're grazing. And we'd like to develop a model where we can actually figure out how much rainfall we've gotten during the wintertime months and in the spring, and actually come up with a model that would predict what our carrying capacity is of that particular pasture during the summer. One of the other things that I use, and also we're going to try and this next spring, is put some of them long-range tags in some of our grass-fed beef program, where we've got some customers that want all-natural grass-fed beef, and so we'll do the same thing that we do with our fed beef on our website. They'll be able to log on and watch their grass steer grow too during the summer. The other thing I'm quite involved with is 4-H and 4-H fairs, livestock shows, and expositions. In northeast Colorado, we have 6 county fairs that 100% EID all their junior livestock animals every spring. We've got another one that's coming on this next year, and ironically, that particular county, we've been monitoring their pigs for the last 2 years. They are heavy RCAF people in that county. And we've got a call from them here lately, and they want to do everything this next year. They're not too wild about mandatory animal ID or NAIS, but they love the idea of having electronic ear tags in all their county fair animals, because that way they can track them. These particular photos here, this is at the National Western Stock Show, where we do about 1,000 animals every year. We set up panels. That's the way we catch the data on them hogs that are walking through. When they come out of the show ring, they go right on the truck if they've not been in the top of their class. And so we track them animals from the time they enter the showgrounds until they leave, and then also at the packer. There's another picture of when all the animals are scanned. We collect data, and here's another one where we've scanned them animals out and loading them up on a truck. All them animals, all this data we can collect. It goes onto we keep it there at the show. Any animals that are doctored during the show by the show veterinarian and stuff like that, them animals are scanned, they're put into the system, what drug was used, so we can monitor withdrawals. And actually when them animals are loaded, we can plug them into the computer, and if they're not within their withdrawal time, it'll flash up and say, do not load this animal. He's not past his withdrawal time. So we've eliminated a lot of human errors where we do tagging and misreading ear tags and things like that. In closing here, as you can see, I've kind of bastardized the EID tag. We use it for just about everything. We get premiums for our calves in our value-added programs, and that's through source and trace and agent source, and I get premiums out of my non-conforming animals that don't meet my loads. We're tracking animals in the range in our feedlot and measuring their productivity or the lack of. You certainly know with them long-range tags, if a cow's sick and she's got a bad foot or something like that, that certainly shows up in that raw data. I do a lot of tracking of livestock at fairs and expositions. Like I said before, we'll tag anywhere from about 3,500 to 4,000 animals every spring. So we're finding out a lot of things about tag retention, readability after they've been in the animals, and that's all species, beef, lambs, pork and goats. And also I was involved in tracking animals for a research project this last spring when they did the National Beef Quality Audit on the non-fed cow audit there of tracking the cuts and stuff as far as what was sold good and what didn't. We were able to go to a cow bull harvest facility, and with the technology that we had, we were able to scan the back tags, put them with a barcode reader as the cows were coming down the line, and then tie them back to certain cuts and how they were fed and how they were marketed. So those are some of the things that I've done, and I'm sure there's many other things out there that can be done, but that's kind of where our program lies. Thank you.